ready? Okay.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to another stunning episode of the Anything Else That's Somewhere Else podcast. I'm your lovely
Got it
host.
right this time.
Yes, I did. I'm your lovely host, Mr. Olli Eldrick. Joined with me in the co-host spot is the wonderful Mr. Alex Lints.
How's it going, everybody?
Joining us in the producer third chair is the wonderful Mr. Dallas Outsider.
Hello, I'm Dallas Outsider.
And joining us in the hot seat today, we have the wonderful, inimitable Lacey Joyce. I refer to
Hello.
everyone as inimitable. I really do need to up my
Use
stories.
mild-mannered.
Mild-mannered Lacey Joyce. Ugh.
Did you meet me?
Yeah, good point. Well, Lacey, it's great to have you here. We've been on stage before
We have.
here together, actually, which is very nice. So it's nice to reconnoiter, as it were. But for the audience who don't know
Connoiter?
you, why don't you tell us a little bit about your music background?
Music? All right. Well, I've been doing music in the capacity that people know of now for the last couple years. So I haven't been really at it for very long, but I came from a really musical family. So music has sort of been always a part of my life. There was always a guitar. I didn't learn to play until a couple years ago because there was always somebody around me who could play the guitar. And so it never seemed useful to or necessary to learn. So I've only been playing the guitar with any seriousness for maybe 3 years. Technical
Can we
issues.
get through one episode without a camera falling?
No. Oh man, I have one of those tripods, and they yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And none of this gets cut, by the way.
Oh, I mean, I can keep talking. I just didn't want to, give you this unusable
We're fearless.
footage.
We don't cut anything.
That's
Yeah.
good. I like that. Good to know. Just so that you
We're audio
know,
guys,
whatever
not
you
video.
say.
Yeah, whatever you say is public record.
When-
Nobody said we're video guys. We're just audio guys.
hey, it is.
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
Ollie has
and-
a degree in film from the now defunct
Film
University of
yeah, yeah.
It's
Winchester.
not defunct. It's still around. Anyway,
It doesn't defunct
So
just mean
Ollie,
crappy.
with his fake film degree, fumbling with the camera.
nothing gets cut. Nothing gets lost. Unfortunately.
No.
We'll see now.
You've been playing the guitar for how long, you say?
Just a couple years. But I've been singing my whole entire life. The first time I got on stage, I was probably 3. I was very young. There's some hilarious family video. We didn't have a video camera, but somebody in the crowd, in the old 90s style video cameras, had one. And so there's footage of me stage crashing my mom at a talent show because I wanted to sing too.
Yeah.
So that's how. And then I just stood there and didn't sing. Stood there with the microphone, oh my God, what did I do? But then the second time I got on stage, I did actually sing and had a lot of fun. And then my mom's just was the type of parent to always be looking for ways to include her kids and opportunities for us to do family band stuff. So me, my mom, and my little brother did. There was a local, Telemiracle fundraiser our town did every year, and Humane Society, just fundraisers, talent shows. So I've been singing on stage from a very young age, but I have been writing for a long time, but only songwriting for a pretty short period of time.
Yeah.
About as long as I've been playing the guitar. So that's a super long answer, but I don't know how to answer
Well,
it simply.
you know what? It's great
know?
to hear about you from this, but
It's great for you to
But-
fill the time.
As always, we're big fans. We love your stuff. But for God's sake, can you talk
you.
about anything
Anything.
else?
Good segue.
now, do we want to take any guesses on what the topic is today?
Yeah.
Do you know?
I don't know, actually. This time I
don't-
wasn't given a specific
No,
answer.
I'm having to go completely off vibes for this one. 'cause
I
usually with a lot of people we get on the as guests, I know what they do as their day job,
Mm-hmm.
or I know what they studied, so I have a little bit. I don't actually know.
don't know any of that.
No,
well, those are going to
honestly-
be two very different streams.
I'm gonna pick out the Adam Beitel basket. I'm gonna go with lawn care. I'm gonna.
You know what? That's wildly close. That's
Okay.
absurdly close to what I do for a stab in the dark. Actually,
I don't know why. My guess is going to be, and I don't know why I say this, but do you own bees?
no, but close. These are.
Word
It's getting
up.
there. You guys are getting there.
Dallas, what's your guess?
I'm gonna say something with dogs or cats.
Dogs or cats?
Yeah.
Also, very. You guys are it's
We're
in
dancing
the.
around.
You're in the ballpark.
Well, put us out of misery. Tell us.
So my family has a beef cattle ranch, and my brother and I are cattle ranchers.
Okay, that's fantastic.
So it's kind of lawn care. We have beef.
Yeah.
It's almost
Excellent.
bees,
Excellent.
beef.
the meat.
And there are cats and dogs.
All right. Tell us
Cats
a
and
little
dogs
bit.
are involved.
Tell us a little bit about that then.
So I grew up in Meadow Lake, which is 3 hours from here.
Yeah.
So I don't work full time on the ranch. Obviously, that would be quite the commute. We've sort of worked something out with my brother and I. He's the full-time rancher, and I've just it's worked where I'm able to make myself available when they need me, And then that pays me well enough that I can kind of piece together a living in the city is basically the answer.
Okay.
Like I have done some lawn care stuff as well. That's why I said like, it's actually pretty close. Like I have maintained lawns for a living. I have a couple of friends who have really small construction companies, and if they need like an extra day laborer for a bigger job,
You'll throw yourself into
yeah, it turns out that like you wouldn't think it, but like the skill set from ranching is actually kind of like weirdly transferable.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, 'cause you're, like,
you're farming,
Laboring,
so-
working with your hands, and it's like I always like when I started doing construction, I really liked it because I thought my first day on the job I was like, man, this is like ranching but in the city, and it's obviously like not there's no cattle involved, but it's the same type of laid back schedule. Like we get, like you're working hard, but nobody's timing your breaks type of thing, which like I don't really enjoy that type
It's
of a
just
work.
about how long does it take to get the job
Yeah.
done.
I've always considered
Yeah.
them to be fairly similar just because I can't do either of them. So, and I feel like I can't do them in the same way.
Yeah,
So-
you would be equally bad at both.
So we'll go back. So the branch of around Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan.
Yes.
A lovely area of the country.
It is
I haven't been
gorgeous.
up there much, but I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
I assume you didn't just decide to buy a cattle ranch with your brother. I'm assuming
No,
this is a family
we
ranch.
did. Yeah, this is a family ranch.
How many
So,
generations, mate?
4. So my brother and I are 4th generations. We are our family was one of the first families to move to Meadow Lake actually, back when it was
Okay.
basically like a fur trading depot, a failed fur trading depot. So we and like that does kind of like I don't know how interesting this is, but it sort of explains a little bit of like why our family is the way that they are now, because although we're 4th generation and we have like it's a big enough operation now that my brother and I can both work. That's the first time it's been that way. Like my dad's the only one who he only had one sibling and she didn't help with the ranch. My grandpa was the only one who ranched, so it's always been like a single kind of family thing until now. So
Yeah.
my brother he's like driven and obviously had like a good start from taking over for my dad, so it's finally kind of grown to the size that it is where I can be there part-time and be here part-time, like after several generations we're there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of because it's not like it's been cattle right from day one. Like my when obviously like when my great-great-grandpa originally moved out, I actually didn't know this growing up until I was like 18, like an adult, but my family informed me that we're actually Métis. That was just like, it never came up. We were just told that we were French Canadian. I had no idea that I was
A lot of
Indigenous
Métis
until
in the Meadow Lake area. so it
tons.
makes
Well,
sense.
and that's actually like what it was founded by like a Métis man, like to be a fur depot.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of it tracks. And there's this whole community of people who are just French Canadian, but they all came at the same time from the same, and now all of their kids, like the 4th generation, are the ones that are doing the like genealogy stuff and being like, I mean, we are French Canadian, but that's not really the whole. So it's a cool story with my family because we were one of the first families to settle out there. And you can sort of see if you look at like there's like this big, it's now a super grid. It would have been like a wagon trail, right? But so on the one side of the super grid are all these like deadly Ukrainian grain farmers, and they've just got like the really good land. And then on the other side is the lake, and that's where all these like French people, settled because they wanted to have trap lines. So we have like really swampy land. Like it's not, you know what I mean? It's like you can raise cattle on it, but you
It's
couldn't
not
really.
arable, yeah.
It's not like really great for grain, or so it's always been sort of like a mixed operation. A little bit of grain, maybe make lots of hay, raise cattle. We had pigs when I was a kid. Pigs was like the main thing when I was a baby. Actually, like my dad tried to do grain, couldn't make it happen. Went into pigs. So it's just like we've done, like as
You've covered a large breadth
like
of-
over
of
the
this.
4 generations. It's not like we've just been doing cattle for 4 years and
Yeah.
here we are.
And if you need to, you could extend it into bees.
We
That
could.
seems to be an option.
We very much could. We have so we had a neighbor who there's kind of like a thing where if beekeepers have hives near your land, they'll usually give you some honey because like you're feeding their bees.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of like just like an unspoken thing. So my mom had a friend who got into beekeeping, and this friend like proposed basically like a swap, like beef for honey. And so like my mom was like, okay, not thinking that it was going to be like straight across. So anyways, we ended up with like gallons of honey, like gallons. So we don't really need to raise bees. There's enough people doing it around us, just giving
Yeah.
us, trading gallons and gallons of honey for beef.
We get
so.
a lot, lucky bastard, where I work. Great vodka. We actually use a lot of the honey from up in the Meadow Lake area.
Oh.
All the wildflower honey. It's absolutely fantastic.
Lots of clover, lots of canola. Yeah, we would have good honey. But yeah, we don't need to raise bees. There's lots of people doing
So
that.
how many head of cattle do you have?
We calved out almost 300 this spring.
Okay.
So like, how many head do we, like total? I don't know, like around 600, I guess.
I really love this question when I meet. I don't meet many cattle ranchers out here. Some.
Yeah.
We are in the prairie provinces. I'm going to
Still,
meet
yeah.
some. Coming from the UK, like some people will say like, I have 12 cows.
Yeah, 12. Yeah. That's.
And coming out here, like you can't think in less than a quarter section.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's-
And I imagine it's like the same question you get, which is how many head is
Mm-hmm.
the same question like my family, like I always get when we're grain farmers is like, how many acres? I don't know.
I don't know, man. Like so many.
I don't
yeah.
know.
And I always have to Google how many acres in a quarter because I
Yeah.
can never remember. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay, well, like I could tell you how many like quarter sections approximately, but like I don't
Exactly.
actually know what that is
Unless
in acres.
you're talking to another rural person
Yes.
that doesn't translate.
Yeah.
Dallas, how do you feel? Are you lost or are you
No,
following?
no,
Yeah.
I'm all caught
Mr.
up.
Vancouver.
You're all caught up with the quarter section. Like, measure our land in miles out
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Dallas is so urban, he makes me feel rural, and I grew up in the suburbs, so like,
And how many high-rise construction projects is that roughly?
how many Tims can I fit on this?
Like, so many guys.
So yeah, favorite beef product?
Oh, so I'm like probably steak. I like a good steak.
Medium rare, or are you going?
Yeah, I'll go like medium rare. I would say like pink but not bloody is like the preference. Yeah.
Dallas, how do you have your steak actually?
I like it with blue cheese.
Blue cheese.
Yeah.
That's not the question, Dallas.
So blue rare.
That's not what we asked you.
What did you ask me?
What doneness?
How do you like your steak?
Oh, like-
with blue cheese.
If you went to a restaurant, a waiter is allowed to punch you in that situation.
Yeah.
I would
You-
take
Go down to
more.
the cut tonight, Dallas, and order a steak. And when they ask that, blue cheese.
That's wonderful news, sir, but I need more information.
I like medium.
Yeah.
Medium.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, thanks.
But it
Wasted
has
that-
to have blue cheese on
Yeah,
it.
I get
It
Otherwise,
that.
has to
I
have
won't
the blue
eat it.
cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jiminy Chris.
What kind of cattle is it mainly?
Well, like they're beef cattle, so so not dairy. In other words, we aren't like straight Angus or anything like that. There's
Okay.
like a little bit of husbandry that goes in that would get kind of boring probably, but we like the small Angus bulls
Oh no,
for the
we're
first time
here for the nitty
calvers.
gritty. This is the whole point
Yeah,
of the
you
podcast.
want to get right into it.
Get
Yeah.
me-
I
With
can
us.
lean
There's
in and
a-
talk my cattle knowledge if you want.
There's kind of like this happy medium. You want them like you don't want the really really big cattle because then they just burn a lot of hay in the winter and so like the upkeep is a lot. But then when you sell your steers or your calves in the fall, like you're paid per pound. So like Angus calves are hardy, but they tend to be smaller, and so And we're late calvers. Like we don't do that like February calving thing like a lot of people do. We usually start like in April. Like we're quite a bit later.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. Our logic is that, yeah, they're like a little bit lighter in the fall, but then we lose fewer. Like we don't. So then,
Right.
we don't lose them in as many storms, hopefully. So
That's fair. That's
it should level out. And also, I mean, but more than that, it's just like it's easier. Like it's hard to like calve in a blizzard. It's like a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
So
the one thing I find weird is I had a few friends who were part of Young Farmers and sort of did a lot of agro growing up. And one thing I always find really weird is that my friend Jade, if you're listening, Jade, great to have you here.
Shout out, Jade.
You have actually met Jade. She did come out to visit. She was always talking to me about the wonders of what we call dual breeds. British White is a really good example of a
Okay.
dual breed. Dual breed is you can use them for dairy and beef. Like they.
oh, dual breeds, yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to be a thing really out here as
We're
much.
so dumb. I hate
I
it.
don't know if it's just because the land's so big and you can rear so many more. You don't have to think that
I think
nitty
it's
gritty
that.
cost in
Yeah,
the same
we're
way
so
that you
dumb.
do in
Yeah,
the UK.
I think that's. When I switching gears because you had asked me what I studied in school. So I studied English. I have an English degree, and I got a scholarship to go and spend a couple months in the UK when I was
nice.
done. Yeah, so I spent. Ooh, sorry guys, your audio is gonna be crazy.
Oh, don't worry about
Um,
it.
So I
Can you
spent
teach me English?
a month and a half. No, please not. Stop moving around. Yeah, and like the
Can you
audio
teach
levels
Dallas
are gonna
English?
be. I'm gonna like hit. Yeah, I'm trying my best to be a good guest. To be the mild mannered person that I
I've
was
just been
introduced.
Biff Minute the whole time,
So I spent like 6 or 7 weeks in the UK and got to see, like I wasn't touring farms, but I mean like you see them.
Yeah.
This was like the dumb North American question. My mom came with me, so this was like our dumb North American question after like the second place we saw eggs just on the counter, and
Yeah.
we were like, "What's with you guys not refrigerating your eggs?" And they were like, people were like, "Why would you refrigerate your eggs?"
Yeah.
Like, And this, like, it's kind of like the linchpin of a lot of my complaints about the way that we do, like, agriculture over here. You know, because
you do it that way because that's the way you do it, right?
yeah, it's kind of just like, it's just too factory farming adjacent. Like, there's no reason for, you know, like we were talking about, like, dual like breeds with cattle. It's the same thing with chickens. Like, why don't we have, like, birds that can be meat and laying hens? Like, that could exist.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have to, like, be producing these chickens where, like, half their offspring are useless because all they do is lay eggs. Like, it's just, it's not, like, necessary, but because we've scaled everything up so large and, like, our food just gets, like, shipped all,
You
like,
can't see the
here.
wood. You can't see the wood for the trees at that point. So.
Yeah, and well, like, I think that the eggs that we buy at the grocery store are, like, old as hell. Like, that's the other thing, is, like, we refrigerate our eggs because by the time you buy those eggs, they could have been laid, like, 2 months ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's also, like, we also have, like, dumb standards. Like, we have to wash our eggs, but, like, that washes off the, yeah. So, like, eggs have, like, a natural wax coating that actually seals them from, and that's why they can keep on your countertop for, like, months. We don't like none of that. So we wash that wax coating off, and then they're immediately susceptible to bacteria and need to be refrigerated. So now we have, like, even just the, like, fossil fuel footprint of, like, huge refrigerated trucks. And, like, it's just, it's so unnecessary. Like, with the smaller scale, I know we have, like, vast expanses of land, but it doesn't need to be this way, right? Like, we could be buying our eggs from people who live, like, just outside the city. And I used to, I mean, meet people in a parking lot and buy eggs from them.
When you can do it that way, I love doing it that way.
Like that, and that's, like, a good example of, yeah, like, that's a better way to do it. We could do it with beef too, but it's a little harder because that does need to be refrigerated. Like,
Yeah.
you maybe don't want to buy
And
meat
also-
out of,
and
like, the
also
box of someone's truck.
There is also, like, logistics. I live in an apartment at the moment, and, like, so actually we all do. Like, I can't buy half a
No,
cow.
you're not. Yeah,
I can,
you need to. It needs to become, like, a co-op thing. So
yeah, I can definitely buy, like, a couple of pounds, but, like,
We don't have deep freezes.
No.
yeah, yeah, and if you, well,
I'm just jealous of people who can shop regularly at Costco. Like, I'd love to be able to do that.
even
like
if you did
Costco
have a
today.
deep freeze, like, that food would be so freezer burnt, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
From, like, one person trying to eat it. So we just don't, yeah, like, we just have kind of scaled up our, like, food production to, like, a level that doesn't, you know, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. You know, like, with beef, a lot of our cattle gets sent over to the States to be finished, and then they butcher it and they send it back here to butcher it, and then it gets, like, distributed. You know what I mean? It's like that one animal has been across the continent, like, 3 times
Oh,
before it
yeah.
ends up in your, like, grocery store. And it doesn't need to be that way. Like, literally people, like, raising beef cattle, like, 2 hours from here. Like, we don't need to, like, be shipping it here and there and everywhere.
Well, yeah,
but that's
it
what we
just
do.
gets to the point where there's just so many middlemen that, like,
Yes.
it's the same in grain farming where, like, the farmer's making, like,
Yeah, they're not
nothing by
seeing,
the
like,
end
they're not seeing, like, the markups at the
Yeah.
grocery store. It's just, yeah, it all
because
gets,
they're like, oh, we have all these middlemen that we have to pay along the way. Well, why do we have that?
yeah,
Then
and it just, like, makes people, like, further and further removed from their food.
Exactly.
So I don't know if I have, like, just, like, a really, like, quaint Disney, like, cottage, you know, industry idea of the way that agriculture is done in the UK. Because
Why
I'm
not?
sure, you know.
It's wonderful.
Well,
It's actually just. Have you seen Snow White? It's basically
it's
that.
like literally that, right? That's what you guys do.
Dallas,
And-
you'd fit right in over there then.
Snow White, a German
'Cause you're a
fairy tale.
dwarf.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Dallas is a German dwarf.
Yeah,
He is.
I really am.
You don't really get it on screen because we're sitting down, but Dallas just so diminutive. We love you
Yeah,
for
If
it.
I
yeah.
was a dwarf, I'd be
A dwarf.
dopey.
That's your yeah. You know what? I agree. I agree. Yeah, your dwarf is dopey.
Well, to be fair, he is dopey. But one of the reasons why we do this podcast is we're trying to educate Dallas a little bit about the wider world,
All right.
outside of music, outside of his usual
That's a
bubble.
good segue.
Do you have any questions for
outside of
Lacey?
Yeah, do you have any
Dwarfism
questions for our
outside.
expert today, Dallas?
Since you work in a farm in Saskatchewan, have you ever crossed paths with Brock Lesnar?
With who?
With Brock Lesnar?
The name? Who is he?
He's a wrestler who recently just became a farmer in Saskatchewan.
Not recently.
Really?
It's been.
I guess he's been doing it
it's
for
been a
years
long
now.
time.
I don't know
Yeah.
why the name's familiar.
Yeah.
I can't say that I have.
Oh, okay.
I hope to.
Dallas, do you
Yeah.
actually remember where? I don't remember for sure where.
it's like
It's southeast,
southern
it's
Saskatchewan.
It's southeast Saskatchewan. I think.
Yeah.
southeast.
Yeah, I'm from northwest Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
Okay, so
wrong
the opposite-
direction, Dallas.
Exact opposite corner of the rectangle.
He's on this turnbuckle. She's on that one.
They have to square the whole circle to get to each other, man. It's a whole thing. Like, you can't easily 619 your way there.
If it was a Saskatchewan like wrestling company, we should make the ring like Saskatchewan shaped.
Oh god, it was so long.
It's
was
got-
so fun, though.
Rectangular.
There's just like a whole like
Parallelogram.
cardio component of running away.
Anyway, thank you so much for teaching us a little bit about cattle ranching.
Sure.
Dallas, I hope you learned something. I hope
Yes.
I hope the readers at home have also learned something.
Stop calling them readers.
I keep forgetting the
Readers.
word listening.
They don't
Listeners,
listen.
dear
They just read the
listeners.
transcript.
They're
Have
just
you read our
They're just
transcripts?
literally
They are-
people on public transportation watching the transcript. Yeah.
Our transcripts, the AI transcripts for our podcast, have you ever looked at them, Dallas?
Yeah.
They are, a lot of times, they're in,
It's nonsense.
it's nonsense.
AI struggles with me because I speak so quickly. They probably struggle with your accent.
Massively.
Like they're people,
They
the
really-
AI.
We're going to move on to our next little segments.
Okay.
These are all more of our like regular segments. The first
Alright.
couple are I'm just going to posit some stuff to you just to see how quick you are on your feet.
Oh,
The
okay.
first one is called Who Dis. I'm going to give you a name of a real person. This person existed in the real world with this name.
Okay.
I'm not expecting you to know who this person is. I'm not expecting you to tell me who they really are.
Okay.
Who do they sound like they are?
Alright, okay.
Give me the biography based on vibes.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
person today is the famous and unforgettable Johnny Dickshot.
What if I knew who that really was?
I would be
That
impressed.
blow our minds.
Johnny Dickshot, hey, that's his name. You know, he sounds like he was probably maybe like a traveling salesman, you know, around like maybe like the 1910s, 19-teens, you know.
Like a snake oil salesman.
Yeah, bit of a
type thing.
snake oil salesman. He probably has like a shoe with like the sole coming, you know what I mean, like a flappy shoe, and probably like a bit of a like a perpetual, you know, shadow. Thinks very highly of himself and won't shut up. Probably, you know, makes up stories, travels around, just like spreading rumors. I think that's probably who he was historically.
Johnny Dickshot, the
Yeah.
transient storyteller.
Yeah, the
of
transient story.
prairies.
Yeah, with the bad shoe and oral hygiene. Maybe that was bad too. I didn't like him much. Apparently, I didn't
Honestly-
like the sound of that name.
That's pretty good. I like that one. That was a good job. Yeah. Ollie, do we tell them who?
No, you got to go home and Google it. No.
Yeah. Was this the one that was a ball player?
He was a ball player.
Yeah,
for
he was a
the
baseball
Giants.
player for the Giants.
So exactly what I said.
Yeah, pretty much. Not very far off.
How many dick shots has he like hit in his career?
How many dick shots did he see in his career?
No, dick shots that he hit. Like,
Did he hit?
yeah.
Oh, like if he hit the home run and it hit somebody in the.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. They don't keep those stats, Dallas. I know sabermetrics are overly specific these days, but that's a bit much.
Sorry about that. I just had to quickly just.
Oh, it's okay. We didn't miss you.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay, I was worried that there was no footage for a second.
No, those footage. Don't worry.
Okay,
There'll be a
good.
few like
There's footage. It's
blackout
on the-
bits.
it's
There'll be a
off
few.
the
Look,
floor,
there'll be a
but-
few blackout bits. But honestly, we haven't yet had a completely successful video episode.
Yeah,
It's
no,
it's become a thing now.
I like that.
It's
Yeah.
tradition.
what
this
will
is-
the problem be?
This is the next section. This is our Miss World. This I don't even know if that one's even recording.
Oh, well.
This next
This is all just an
section,
excuse to come hang out at somewhere else for an hour.
pretty
Yeah.
much. This is called our Miss World segment. So these are real questions that have been posited to people at beauty pageants around the world.
Oh, beauty pageants. Okay.
These are the ridiculous sort of questions where you're expected to, solve the world's problems. From a 22-year-old accounting student
This is
from
perfect.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. So the question for you
Okay.
today. These come from Pageant Planet today.
Oh, okay.
If you were a pizza, what topping would you be?
World peace. Who doesn't like world peace on pizza, guys? Like
Well, pizza. I like it.
World pizza.
world pizza.
And that's your final answer. Fantastic.
She's trying to be diplomatic.
I'm trying to start like a pizza chain.
World pizza.
World
Oh, spoiler
World
alert
peace
for later.
pizza.
Okay, the next segment we've got. This one is just to test your mental acumen, get an idea of truly how smart you are. You say you have an English degree.
Yeah.
You
One of the
say
easiest
you say
degrees
you've got
to
this
get.
like grittiness from ranching. So today we're gonna answer the immortal question: are you smarter than Dallas Outsider? These are questions from Trivial Pursuit about 1993.
Okay.
Very
These questions
recent
are
edition.
31 years old at best.
Okay. I'll
wanna
remember all
see-
of these.
If you can get these correct.
And honestly, as always, when in doubt, Bill Clinton seems to come
Yeah,
up a lot.
it was him. 93, yeah.
So
Sounds
first I'll ask you, if you don't get it, Dallas gets a chance to
he gets
steal.
to stay. He gets to steal.
So, what TV talk show host in 1993 noted at a January news conference, what we're celebrating is I haven't been fired?
Oh. 93? I want to say like it's probably one of the late night hosts. How about is that too long ago for like Stephen Colbert?
You could try it.
Sure, let's go with Stephen Colbert.
All right.
Okay, that's incorrect, Dallas.
David Letterman.
No, Jay Leno.
Oh.
You
that
know,
was gonna be-
I was
oh.
actually David Letterman was my guess, but his name like mixed itself up in my head, and I was like, that's not who I'm thinking of. Because Jay
Damn.
Leno, sure, yeah.
I miss David Letterman.
I was
Yeah.
gonna
No
say
one
Larry
misses-
David.
no one
'cause
misses
the L,
Jay
they have,
Leno.
that's
Nobody
not the
misses
same
Jay
person.
Leno.
All right, question 2. So
Question
so far,
two.
nothing to nothing.
What U.S. actor-director was chosen to head the jury for the 1994 Cannes Film Festival? Very easy question.
I don't know. Quentin Tarantino.
Nope.
O.J. Simpson.
Do you want to take another shot at that?
Yeah.
Do you want to actually try, Dallas?
Actor, director.
Yeah.
Director. Oh, did Quentin ever act?
Name anybody.
Other than O.J.
Steven
Simpson.
Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg? No, it was Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
I'm sure he must have directed something.
He's directed loads of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Has he?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
he's probably now more known for being a director than he is being an actor.
Shows what
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't he like the world's oldest actor now?
Oh, he's got to be
He's
close.
one of them.
Yeah.
He's getting up there.
He's like
he-
90 something now.
He's
Now we
close
know who
to
killed
Dick
Betty
Van
White.
Dyke, probably.
It's close, yeah. All right. What size sneakers did Shaquille O'Neal slip into for his 21st birthday? How old is Shaq now?
50. What size? Like,
Size of shoe.
yeah, but like, what are we giving them? Like a
It's not going to
like
be.
an error margin.
Oh, okay. How about within 2?
Yeah, within 2.
My guess was going to be like size 16, but I bet you it's like something ludicrous like 24.
Is that your lock-in?
Yeah, I'll split the difference with 20. There we go.
Okay. It's
Is that what it
20.
is?
Dead on the money,
Dead
dead
on
on
the
the
money.
money. Wow.
She got you, Dallas.
That's crazy. Sorry, Dallas.
my
Sorry, I'm
ass.
so smart.
So we're 1-0 now.
Is
One
this
and a-
fourth question?
It's fourth
Okay.
question.
What movie inspired droves of viewers to send donations to save the whales?
Was it Free Willy?
It was Free Willy.
Well,
God.
2-0. 0. Dallas,
I
can you,
love
crawl,
that
can you
movie.
at least get points on the board with this final question?
Okay.
Dallas, do better, man. Come on. I've been priming you.
All right. As of 1993, who was still the owner of three of Atlantic City's 12 casinos?
Donald Trump.
It's Donald Trump.
Is it really?
Honestly.
That's impressive. Actually, that's
Nailed
the
it.
best result we've had so far. I think,
So smart.
I think before this, the best we've ever managed to get to of anyone is 2 correct. So I think you're on the leaderboard. We'll
Better luck next time.
I think she ties Adam Beitel, I think, now. I think
Did
maybe,
Adam get 3 as well?
I think he did. At
Okay.
the end of the season, we
Right.
should have our 2
I was
best
just gonna
go
say,
head
and
to
then we're
head.
gonna
in a
verse
single
off and
episode.
turn
That's
into
not
one.
bad, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
good. I like that.
So congratulations, you won that little thing. You can take that home with you.
You are
I
now
will,
smarter
yeah.
than Dallas outside.
Yeah.
But we're now going to go to these are our regular questions. These are just to give us our viewers a regular idea
Okay.
of who Lacey Joyce is. You know, a psychological profile, if you will.
That's what we need.
Useful for us. Useful
Forward
for
it
the,
to my
it's
doctors.
Useful for the police. You know, whoever needs it. The first question, nice and easy. Favorite Tom Hanks movie?
Oh. Probably Apollo 13, right?
Ooh,
Great
Yeah.
choice.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's
Great choice.
if
We haven't
yeah,
had that one
I think
yet.
that would probably be it. Maybe I was gonna say Outcast. That's not the one.
Castaway.
Castaway. Yes, thank you. I don't know what is with me and words today, man.
Don't worry, it happens to the best of us. It might be the booze. Who
I'm
knows?
a songwriter.
I
I
like
don't
how
know what to
Alex
tell you.
immediately looked at me as soon as she said.
Have you guys seen Apollo 13?
words.
Actually,
Oh, yeah?
have you seen it, Dallas?
Yeah.
Amazing film.
It's great.
Great story.
It is really,
my
yeah.
one small thing. It's not that impressive, but I did see Jim Lovell in person
Oh,
once.
yes.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
It was from very
you know.
far away at a baseball game in Chicago. Where I was like, "That's Jim Lovell. He's very old now."
Did they get him on the
saw-
jumbotron?
Well, he was just down there, and I sort of poked my head over, and so went,
I saw Tom Hanks
Yeah.
before.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
Well, see,
He was,
beats
he was
you.
very waxy.
Did you see him at
A wax museum?
Did you go to
Were you
Oh,
at a
my
wax museum?
God, Dallas.
Boo.
Okay, next question for you. What cereal leaves the best milk?
Leaves the best milk. Probably cinnamon toast crunch.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
choice. Are we-
Or French toast crunch, actually. I don't know.
Oh,
That's like my
okay.
favorite cereal. It's
Dallas?
Yeah?
It's rare, hard to come by.
Yeah, it's definitely my number 2.
You're
We
number
got, the,
two.
we got the approval of the resident foodie.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Next, this is our cleanliness section. When you shower, do you face towards the water or away from the water? The majority of the time.
The majority of the time.
Like, what's your default position?
Yeah. I'm short. so from up above, just the water from, you know, I don't know that like
every
I really.
shower is a rain
I don't
shower
really
for you.
generally. I live in a basement suite, and so it's a small apartment, and like a lot of the sacrifice in space is made in the bathroom, so it's like a small shower even for me.
Yeah.
So I mean, the answer now is with my back to the water, because otherwise it's waterboarding me.
Your
Because there's like not
shower.
really anywhere I've like figured out to spray the water that's not like right on my face.
I'll tell you this though, your shower cannot
nothing.
possibly be any smaller than Dallas's shower.
I was myself and Alex's fiance, we were sort of co-cat sitting for Dallas when he was on the West Coast.
Joint custody.
Yeah, and Alex was with me one of the times we went to check it out. And yeah, we just checked out the shower, and it is
We just couldn't
So-
get in it.
Yeah.
Like
Together or
No, separately.
individually. We just neither one of us could just fit in the shower.
This was like,
I was like, how do you shower, Dallas? One half at a time.
Yeah, probably.
arm
Maybe.
in,
Maybe.
other arm in. Next question. It's same sort of thing. Soap or shampoo first?
So this is like a girl question, right? Because it's shampoo first, because the sooner I get my deep conditioner in, you know what I mean? And
That
then I
is-
waste as much time as I can in the shower because my deep conditioner is doing its thing.
See, everyone
No.
always says
Strategy.
Everyone always says shampoo
I'm
first.
starting to
and they
feel
kinda
like a
say-
freak.
Because
Yeah.
you do soap
Yeah.
first?
I soap. I mostly because I forget about my hair. Most of the time I'm like, oh, I should probably do that, and
You should probably do that.
doesn't make me feel good about myself to say that on air, but it's true. Okay, we're going to move away from that now.
Okay.
This is a good question for you. What is the object you own the most of that you are not collecting?
Oh. I mean, like, there's probably like a dumb answer, like kitchen forks or something. The object I own the most of that I'm not collecting.
Is there anything that you're just kind of weirdly like, why do I have so many
Weirdly,
of
like,
these?
why am I accumulating so many
Yeah.
of these? Like, there has to be. I want to give you like a real answer. I might not be able to. It's probably just something dumb like belts. You know what I mean?
Are you a heavy belt user?
Well, like I'm not even wearing one today. I kind of know, which is probably why it like turns into the like, why do I have? Because it's like maybe
Yeah.
it's like the one article of clothing you never outgrow, and so you never, you know what I mean?
Speak
It's
for
like
yourself.
they
Speak
don't.
for yourself.
Sorry.
It's okay,
You
Olli.
barely.
We've all been there, man.
I mean, not as quickly as your pants anyway. There's like a little bit of wiggle room, and like they don't wear out. I mean, I have worn out some belts too, but like
Yeah.
they don't wear
They're
out as fast
tatty,
as
but they
everything
don't-
else.
They're
you know?
unlikely to be completely useless. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, like I said, I live in a very small apartment, so it's not that I'm like a minimalist. Like if you came to my house, you'd be like, why do you have so much stuff? Your apartment is so small.
You're
Yeah.
defaulted to a minimalist.
But it's just like by necessity. Honestly, probably the real answer is like books, because I wouldn't think of myself as like collecting books, but like
you have,
have a
you
lot.
Have, like, a whole
You
book,
do have an
you
English
know?
degree though, so
yeah. So it's also like keep it in my not. And as soon as I said that out loud, like one of my favorite souvenirs to get when I'm traveling is a book. Like, well, like how is that not collecting then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's like isn't that like the peak of collecting is like the knick-knack you get on travels?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question is: what is your guilty pleasure fast food?
Mm.
What are you eating that you know is shameful or terrible for you, but you're still gonna get?
I don't know if I have any guilty pleasure, because I'll just eat what I want. I don't care. There's no guilt. Is the point. I got no guilt. I think that like the guilty pleasure part would just be how much of it you know what I mean? How
Sure.
often I consume,
Yeah.
because I don't actually, and it like, I don't know if this counts, but there's a Wow Pizza like 2 blocks from my house.
That definitely counts.
Okay, yeah.
100%.
Well, then it's like I
It-
get a pizza at least once a week.
it-
Like,
it-
like pizza's
it's
like
fast food adjacent, but it's still takeout.
yeah,
so
you can't do the drive-through, which to me, I guess that's like the boundary between. You know what I mean? It's a little classier. Like you have to get out of your car. It's not a sit-down restaurant, but it's a get out of your
You have to
car
spend a
restaurant.
few calories
I-
to get the thing.
I don't. What you go to if you go into Wow Pizza? What are you getting? Do you have like a standard order, or do you try and mix it
Well, I
up?
kind of have a standard order because I'm cheap, but they've changed their prices, and so now like I have to decide if I'm gonna like adapt or just go with it. So they have a walk-in deal. It used to be like a 14-inch pizza for like $11.55, and it was 2 toppings. So I'd get pepperoni, mushroom, and then there's free toppings like cilantro, dried cilantro. Used to be banana peppers, but they got onto me. They charge for those now. So pretty much pepperoni, mushroom, and then whatever free toppings I can get on it.
Yeah.
Now they've increased that price to like $13.55, which is like still a great deal
That's still
for
a good
$4.
deal.
It's like I know, but like I'm so price sensitive. Like they raised it $2 in like 6 months.
It's
like
the principle
I
of the
don't know,
thing.
like,
Yeah.
So now I get like because there's also a deal for a smaller one, you know, and that one feels like a better deal, but it's not a 2-topping minimum. It's like and I haven't really figured out what my favorite pizza is. I guess if you remove the 2-topping limit and I can order anything, like I don't even know.
Too many choices.
I will say though, Wow Pizza is genuinely very good.
Yeah, not to like do an ad spot for Wow Pizza, but they really do like. It's good pizza, yeah.
This segment isn't sponsored by Wow Pizza, but it could be.
But it could be. Hey, Wow
Get in
Pizza,
touch.
sponsor this podcast. I worked as a waitress. Like first full-time job I had after high school was as a server at Pizza Hut. So, and I liked Pizza Hut pizza, but
I miss the in-store
me
Pizza
too.
Hut
What is
restaurant.
this Wingstop nonsense?
Go to Brandon, Manitoba. We still got one. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, we still got an Applebee's. We still got a walk-in
Wow.
Pizza Hut.
We went.
Yeah, do they have the buffet still? The breakfast or like the
You know,
the
I
brunch
haven't
buffet?
been in there in so long, I don't know.
I love
but-
those fruit pizzas that they put on the buffet.
We went to the Applebee's in Brandon, and Dallas would not stop talking about how good the margaritas are
were.
there, and he kept saying like, "Oh, you've got to get a margarita at Applebee's." But Dallas, what did you drink when we were at Applebee's?
Like water.
You had iced tea.
Iced tea, yeah.
And you had to be pressed to get an iced tea.
Doesn't want to try the local fare.
Honestly, you know, that was culturally insensitive.
They're like, what's the point of traveling if you just want it to be like home?
Next question?
I don't know if I've been to an Applebee's.
Come to
So
Brandon.
like,
There
I
is-
feel
there
like,
is
I'm like
I
roasting you, but
think-
like I've never even been.
Regina has
Must
one.
be
Does it
nice to
actually?
go
I
to an
think Regina actually
Applebee's.
has
I would have
two.
had the margarita if I had that.
Interesting. I know that
privilege.
we are the
really
only ones
good
with
as well.
Saskatoon and Regina, the only places with
It must
Fuddruckers
be.
left
We
in
can
Canada.
talk about it, right?
This is starting to turn into too many co-hosts.
It
right
really
now.
is. We're having two conversations. It's great. The last question I have for you
Okay.
is ghosts? Question mark?
Yes,
Yes.
for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely ghosts.
That one's for you, Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is the question? Do I believe in? Do I like ghosts?
the question-
How many ghosts am I close personal friends with?
I'm positing to you
Couple.
just the question. Ghosts?
Oh yeah.
How you
ghosts.
wish to take that?
For sure, and run with it. Yeah, I'm like one of those people who like I'm a little bit into like the woo-woo stuff, right? Like I like the,
A little woo-woo,
a little
but-
woo-woo. Like I like the metaphysical. I
Talking
like
like
to
fire
talk to the
trucks or
universe.
ambulances.
Yes, me after my fire ritual goes bad. that type of woo-woo.
When the woo-woo turns into wee-woo.
Right.
The little.
So I like, yeah,
That was good. Clip that.
I'm, you know, I like spiritualism, I guess. I was very religious when I was younger, and then when I was deconstructing my faith, I was like, okay, I don't really believe in any of these rules, but I sort of missed like praying. So I've always kind of felt that like call of the paranormal, if you will, which I know ghosts aren't God, but like I don't know, maybe they are. Like, who could, like, are they not though? Like, who could say?
I mean,
right?
there's Father, Son, and Holy
Like we're already
Ghost.
talking about. There we are, right? Like we're already talking about like you know the paranormal, so like that could be anything. So when I kind of broke away from the church, I missed like feeling spiritual, I guess. Like that was like something that I actually noticed like missing. Not the community, not the rules or any the structure, like none of that. I just was like, man, I kind of miss like believing in God, I guess.
Yeah.
So I do have like that tendency to like believe in, you know, the unseen or whatever, but I do like to pass things through like a logic filter. Like, you know, if there was no God, what could this be?
Yeah.
You know, and so like I have very probably boring scientific explanations for like what I think ghosts might be too.
Fair enough.
But I don't know, like isn't it like matter is neither created nor destroyed? So it's like how's our energy supposed to just disappear?
Lacey, I have a film production degree.
Yeah. Well, I have an English degree trying to talk to you about physics. So like my understanding of physics is that that ghosts are real. Like
I got
that's
kicked out of school at 17. I can't tell you about all the science stuff.
Well, our final of these regular kind of quickfire segments is the recommendation station. So, Lacey, did you know that you are supposed to throw out and replace your chopping board at least yearly? How often do you do it, if ever?
That's gonna be like a never for me, dog. When I leave it on the stove with the stove turned on, that's when it goes.
When it melts or burns on?
Yeah,
wood-fired
when I
pizza.
created a hole in that. When I need a new stove.
You can basically make wood-fired pizza out of that.
Yeah, I was
If you have
just
a
like,
wooden cutting board,
Every
yeah.
time I
Okay,
move
and, like,
because
is
my
this-
cutting board burned down my house, that's when I get a new cutting board.
right? This is also why I don't collect anything.
Because it always burns
I
out.
had a cutting board, a plastic cutting board at uni that someone had used in my house to like flip something in the pan,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd put the pan immediately on it, and so it just had this huge melted. We used that for 2
Oh
more
yeah,
years.
no, that's great. I mean, it's still you can still cut on it. It's
Yeah,
just,
you had to cut around these deep trenches.
It's just you're like exposing your immune system to like new types of bacteria, which is good.
Okay. Well, the last segments we've got for you, these are sort of our news, local news from elsewhere. So
Local news from
we're going
elsewhere.
to start with a wonderful segment to remind you that it's not all bad here in Saskatchewan with our Florida Man segment.
I was just gonna say, is it gonna be a Florida man? Tell me.
So our Florida Man segment or story this week to get you to react to is man arrested for impersonating pizza joint and selling horrible pizza. So a Florida man is facing felony charges for impersonating a popular pizzeria and delivering bad pies to customers.
I like the tagline about and delivery. It's like it would have been fine if the pizza was good, but like the fact that it wasn't, like, whoa, man.
Well, like if you read more into the story, apparently it was literally he was like just putting like raw dough in boxes at some points and just sending that out.
Why? I mean, he just thought it was so hot in Florida they just cook on the way.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, you guys, man, I don't know. I mean, Florida man, I guess that's Florida man vibes. What
It
are you gonna
really
do?
is. It really is. And it does make you feel better about the people you encounter on a day-to-day basis here. Now we're just going to give you some local news that's not local to anywhere that
Also, by the way, the real owner of that pizzeria's name is Jesus Roman, which I don't know why I find kind of funny.
Probably Jesus Roman. I'm gonna say if he's
Yeah,
in
it's probably
Florida,
Jesus
Jesus.
Roman.
Being
That
Florida.
seems more
be-
fake
he's-
than the
he's-
Florida man selling.
Is Jesus Pizza? Is that the name of his chain?
yeah.
That is World Pizza. If he was gonna have, that should be his chain.
But yeah, we're going to give you some. Now we're going to just hit you with some local news, local to us from where we grew up, not necessarily local to here, but it keeps you informed and stuff. Starting off with, I'm not actually bringing you anything from Nottinghamshire this week. I'm going to actually bring you something from where I lived after that, from Hampshire. Hampshire County Council reveals the real reason. So this is a bit of an expose for felling a historic tree. A lorry driver hit it. Yeah, Romsey horse chestnut tree that was apparently a local landmark. It was a tree.
This is a segue into one of my favorite rants, which is that why don't we have a railway in this country?
Oh,
Because
don't
as a
get Olli
person
started.
as a person who lives,
we only got
like
10
our
minutes,
main
guys.
export in Meadow Lake is timber. Do you know how many logging trucks I've nearly lost my life to every time I go home?
I don't care to think how close I've been to being final destination.
So when you're telling me, when you're telling me that like a very important tree got like shut down by a truck, I'm like, listen, maybe we don't need anything. Maybe if it can't come on the train, we just do it.
Lacey,
mean,
I'll tell
to
you
be
what.
fair-
When the two of us and William Wallace from Landfall have our own
Civics
podcast, we'll bring you on.
Yeah,
to
bring
talk about
me
it.
on, and we will pound the table about what
To be
what
fair,
happened
though,
to
if-
what happened to the Canada Rail.
If the tree got hit by a train, I'd be a little more concerned, though, to be fair. I'd rather it was a truck.
Yeah,
Would you rather it was hit by a derailed train?
in the middle of the historic town centre of Romsey. Honestly, Romsey's a place. Romsey is a bit like Brandon in that it is a place. It's great. There's a hidden depths to it, but it's just a place.
Dallas, what's the news from Vancouver this week that you got,
It's actually
man?
very tree related too.
Tree related.
Wow. First we had pizza, now we have trees.
A tree falls on Vancouver House after heavy rain. What's your reaction to that? What do you think about that?
I mean, again, like I grew up in the bush, so that sort of thing is not. So I always wondered, like Meadow Lake is right in the middle of the northern boreal forest, so we have
Yeah.
like forest everywhere, and so I've always thought, like, why do we build our houses like so far away from the tree line? Because like in my fantasy, wouldn't you want to just have like the trees and like in the city we have trees very close to our house.
Yeah.
I used to own a house with my ex-husband. Another reason why I have very few possessions because I downsized a lot. But so I used to own a house, and in our yard we had 13 mature trees, which was like my favorite thing in the world. But I did always low-key wonder if one of them would fall in the house and kill us one day, because they were like obviously, I mean, 13 trees in town. They were like all over,
Yeah.
leaning over the house and like mature. But I mean, mature, eventually leads to like dead. And then it's on,
What's your follow up on that, Dallas?
I just wanted to say, to add on to that, it says, thankfully there was no structural damage to the house and nobody was injured.
So this seems
But
like
also-
No
this
structural
seems very much a
damage?
non-story.
But
So what you're
also,
saying is that there was like a stick that got caught
Yeah,
in the
it's just like-
wind, and somebody pulled it out of their
I'm sure there's
eavesdrop.
better stories to tell about a tree that
Well-
fell. But also, just look at this cool bike that's on the advertisement on the news site. I would 100% get that bike.
No one is getting this, Dallas. No one can see this. Screenshot this and add it to this so
All right.
so the viewers can get it.
You're showing us your
yeah.
New segment. This
You're-
is what
you-
Dallas's ADHD was up to today.
Dallas's bad
What
AdSense.
do we got from Western Manitoba?
So our Western Manitoba news comes out of Brandon this time. It's a kind of ironic. We've been speaking about how Brandon still has an Applebee's and a walk-in Pizza Hut. But Brandon is finally getting a Cora's breakfast place.
Really?
What do you think of that?
I love Cora's actually. I haven't been there for
Interesting.
like a while, but I used to love going there to eat. So
I'm
I'm
a
happy for them.
breakfast fiend.
Me too.
I don't
Very much, me too.
particularly like Cora's.
I
very
love
much.
the
Okay.
smoothies. The
I
fruit
don't
smoothies.
dislike Cora's, but I do find it the weakest of my options.
Yeah.
Which devastates my girlfriend because she loves it, but I just,
My go-to at Cora's is the boss's favorite, which is the eggs, bacon, sausage
Yeah,
on
that's-
top of a crepe, and then like a fruit smoothie because it's just iconic.
So my favorite food probably in the world is crepes. And so
Yeah.
they do like I do think that it used to be before the like pandemic and inflation and everything else. Like when you would get breakfast at Cora's, you would get so much fruit, and I'm a big fan of like fresh
Oh,
fruit.
I'm anti-fruit on my breakfast.
Okay,
but
see, so then this is already like there's nothing there for you then. So
Yeah.
like the two things is like they have really good crepes. They used to give you lots of fresh fruit. Now I feel like the fruit's kind of borderline. Still good crepes, and they have like that English cream, which is so good. When I was in the UK, I fell in love with their custard.
yeah.
And
it's-
so when
it's-
you get crepes at Cora's, I'm pretty sure it comes with English cream and custard. Like it's
Right.
both, and it's so good.
Yeah, it's, English cream is also called creme anglaise, which is weirdly what
Crème
we
anglaise.
know it as. It's basically custard.
Yeah, it's just like why would you give it a French name if it's
Well,
English?
well,
but
well,
I know.
well,
I have an English degree. It's,
well,
the,
it's
it's
like-
the influence of the French.
It's like you have the
follow for.
well, it's like you have the French horn, but the corn anglaise. It's the French horn, but the corn anglaise. So yeah, I don't know.
See, I'm just a big fan of my favorite breakfast place in town is Crazy Eggs.
Crazy. Okay.
I love that place.
I've still not been.
Is it on Idlewild? Is
Yeah.
that the one I'm thinking of? Yeah.
Well, it's on Circle right kind of
Yeah,
before
yeah,
it
yeah.
meets Idlewild. Yeah. Oh man, I love that place. It's
I
awesome.
should check it out. I do love Denny's. I will always.
Yeah, Denny's is
is okay.
It's just so sweet.
Denny's is
Again, as a
great.
person who likes
Okay.
crepes or whatever,
I'm
it's
used to
just
go-
like
I'm
they're
used
like,
to go
hey,
for-
so what we're gonna give you is cinnamon French toast with like all of icing, brown sugar, syrup, chocolate. It's like whoa.
See, I'm fried egg sausages, hash
I'm not-
browns.
I'm not into that style of breakfast. I don't like my. Actually, here's one more UK reference. So when I was backpacking through the UK, I had a scholarship, but obviously I was on a budget, and most of the like B&Bs we would stay at would come with a full English or Scottish breakfast.
Yeah.
I do not like eggs. I've never eaten eggs in my whole entire life, but I was a student, and I was like, I'm gonna learn to like this free protein they're giving me every day, and so that's actually how I learned to like manage
Tolerate
eggs.
eggs.
Was like the free eggs I was getting every morning, and so I'll eat eggs at home, but to go out and order them at a restaurant, you know what I mean? I'm so picky. Like they better not be cold. Don't the yolk's got to be perfect.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's
like
just not worth it at that point.
yeah. Whereas like crepes, I mean, can you really mess up crepes? Like
This episode should be
Probably.
called Steak and Eggs with Lacey Joyce.
steak and eggs is a great
Steak
Good
and
one.
eggs. That's
Good one,
here.
buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
good
why you're in the
job, yeah.
producer chair, brother.
Good one, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, Lacey, it's been lovely having you on this podcast.
Thanks for having me on.
Whatever it's called, it might be steak and eggs, it might be something else. But it's been great having you on the Anything Else podcast. As we finish up, is there any projects upcoming that you want to talk about, or anything else? Music you can finally talk about.
Yeah,
music
I can
again.
finally talk about music.
Also, good job not talking about
Yeah,
music.
usually
That
we
was
have to-
impressive.
Not an issue. Not
We
even a
still
problem.
down their drinks. But
Yeah. No. I like that you open with "Tell me about your music," and then your follow-up question is, "Okay, why won't you stop talking about me?" Like, y'all, that was a setup. Yeah, so my feedback, not that you asked, is make your setup less obvious. That's that. I'm just joking.
But then it won't be
But
as
now
funny.
that I can,
If I don't beat the viewer over the head with it, how will they know?
the reader.
we have no faith in our viewership.
Our
Yeah, but-
viewers are quite
Our,
dim.
our viewers are looking at it on the subway, reading the bad auto-generated captions. So
My father is sitting at home dribbling watching this episode. He's barely conscious.
Your poor
We
dad.
really have to keep him on.
really need to
He's
speak.
watching this in between viewings of Shawshank Redemption and Saving Private Ryan.
Love you, Russ.
Well, I'm just saying because if he's anything like my dad, which he is, because he's a dad.
He's a dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, what music projects do I have coming up? So I've been playing a lot and touring quite a bit with Raven Reed recently, which has been
Yeah.
very fun. She has an album out, or a single out and an album coming, so we've been really busy with that. For myself, I'm actually going in and recording my first EP in like a little over 2 weeks, I guess, less than a month.
Who are you doing it with?
So I'm working with Aspen Beverage over. Yeah, it's called, I know
Amazing,
he's
yeah.
so good. Yeah, I had the opportunity to kind of just hang out. In actually also through Raven, so she's doing a mentorship with Aspen, like for audio engineering, so that she can do that type of work up north in remote communities. So that was kind of how I've been doing this music with Camp. Actually, I should plug Camp. That's Eliza Doyle's like nonprofit where they go and teach music to kids, mostly in like Stanley Mission, La Ronge, etc. But so basically, through my connections with camp, I then got to meet Aspen and actually watch him work. And I just love his process. I like his space. So it's really, yeah, like there's so many unknowns when you think you're going into this, when you're going to the studio for the first time. So the fact that I've already been there, I've watched him work. I did like some backing vocals for a project with Raven. So I've recorded with him.
Yeah.
So I'm just like so excited. So yeah, I'm recording an EP in a couple weeks.
We'll keep our eyes
keep
posted.
an eye out for
Hopefully
that.
so will everyone else. But it's been lovely to have
Keep
you.
our eyes posted and our posts peeled.
This has been the Anything Else Somewhere Else podcast. I've been Olli Eldrick.
I've been Alex Lints.
I have been Dallas Outsider.
I have been and continue to be Lacey Joyce.
Well, thank you very much.
Not
Enjoy
for
us
long,
ne-
you're not.
The piano falls on my head. That's a good device. And then at the end, we kill our guests.
Anyway, join us next week, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thank you so
And
much.
as you
Thanks,
always
guys.
forget, a little tag on. Thank you again to Somewhere Else Pub for letting us host this year and getting us some free drinks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hey.